Here are the stories we're covering this week in the Category 5.tv newsroom. Google data for search and cloud services went astray for more than an hour on Monday thanks to an ugly mistake by an African ISP. Seagate and IBM are using IBM's blockchain tech to verify a disk drive's authenticity using its electronic fingerprint. The flying motorbike is back in Dubai, and you could see the police riding in one in the not-too-distant future. Samsung will soon test TVs that can be controlled with your brain, a technology enhancement perfect for people with disabilities. These stories are coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Category 5.tv newsroom, covering the week's top tech stories with a slight Linux bias.
Jeff Weston,
Yeah, man.
you're building a brand new, beautiful website.
What?
Aren't you?
No. Am I?
Oh, you're a terrible actor.
What?
This is where acting comes into play.
Oh, I didn't know we were acting.
You're supposed to act.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I'm building a really cool website. Are you building a really cool website? Just because Jeff is confused doesn't mean you have to be. Visit cat5.tv/dreamhost to sign up for unlimited web hosting for your website with unlimited email accounts, MySQL databases, the latest version of PHP, WordPress, and more, and even a free domain name registration. It's less than $6 per month, so sign up today. cat5.tv/dreamhost.
I'm Sasha Rickman, and here are the top stories we're following this week. Google data for search and cloud services went astray for more than an hour on Monday thanks to an ugly mistake by an African ISP. The data was sent the wrong way when Main One Cable in Nigeria updated address books for key network hardware. The update saw it claimed to be the best way to reach millions of Google net addresses. The mistake spread to other networks and led to Google traffic traveling via China and Russia. In a tweet, Main One said the mistake had been made during a planned network upgrade. It added the error was corrected within 74 minutes and the process is put in place to avoid reoccurrences. All the different networks that make up the internet constantly swap information about the best way to reach other parts of the global system. Mistakes on one network can mean traffic is rerouted the wrong way. Google said it had spotted the error and blamed it on incorrect routing of data. A spokesperson for the search giant said all traffic sent the wrong way was encrypted, which should limit any damage caused by being misdirected. Later on Monday, web company Cloudflare was hit by a second Main One Cable mistake that also saw much of its traffic rerouted. In a statement, Matthew Prince, chief executive of Cloudflare, said the mistake had probably been made as a result of a network meeting in Nigeria early November. He said typically the meetings prompt ISPs to set up more data sharing agreements with each other. The mistake that rerouted data had been made while a new data sharing link had been being created. This was a big, ugly screw up, he said. Intentional root leaks we've seen to do things like steal cryptocurrency are typically far more targeted. Mr. Prince's explanation diffused earlier claims that the rerouting had been an attempt to steal data. Amit Naik from net security company Thousand Eyes had characterized the incident as grand theft internet and said it was unlikely to be accidental.
Okay, so two very different opposing views.
Right.
Exactly.
But one from Cloudflare and Google and...
I think that it's scary that an unintentional, like maybe keystroke error or something could cause something like this. But that's, my gut is saying that that's what it was. I don't think it was an intentional data leak.
Yeah.
Right?
When we understand also the infrastructure of how the internet works, and you realize, like, this is why I tell people, do not send your credit card number by email.
No.
Because your email is plain text. So
It is.
as if I send an email to Sasha with my credit card number, and you're the server that I have to send it through. So I'm going to give you my credit card number. Here it is. Now you hand it to Sasha. So you're the server. Now
I'm going to give it to Pirate or something.
But you've got backups of your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And
I looked at it. I know her credit card number.
right.
And stuff now.
Exactly. So
Totally.
that's the internet. That's email and plain text. Now, a lot of transactions these days, and you see it in your Chrome browser and even in Firefox, it says this site is not secure. Because it's warning users, hey, by the way, this site is not encrypting your data.
Yeah.
Well, these days, it's pretty much a requirement, if you will. It's
At
not,
this point.
Yeah, it's not enforced, but as users, we need to watch for our sites to be encrypted.
You can you tell, am I wrong? Is it HTTPS means it's secure? Is that
Correct. And there will be
Okay.
a little lock beside it that doesn't have any error message or a
Right.
cross through it or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's suspect, it would have issues
pop-up.
potentially.
Right.
But having that secure connection doesn't mean your data is safe if you don't necessarily trust the other party.
Right.
What it means is that your communication with the recipient is encrypted.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that the recipient is safe. It means that your connection to them is. So if I'm sending you my credit card number and
Right.
it's secure,
Yes.
and I know you and I trust you, then I can trust that you are a secure party and you're safe to share that personal information with. Henry, though, who knows? Right? No.
Right.
So when you're on the web, you don't just fill in personal information on any site just because it says secure.
No.
Okay.
Secure does not mean the receiving party is safe.
Right.
It just means that it's a secure connection to them. So that said,
Yeah.
when this traffic was routed through China or through Russia, a lot of it, because it was from Google,
Right.
Google enforces SSL, secure encrypted connectivity, and secure encrypted data transmission.
So this is how they could be sure that all of the data was for sure encrypted. They know because it's
Essentially,
theirs, right?
that's the impression that we get.
Right.
Yes. And that's the impression that Google gave, is that, you know what, the data is encrypted. So unless they have the receiving keys, which they don't, it's not going to be visible to them.
Yeah,
Right.
but still, it's the general idea of how fragile the internet really is, though, right?
Sure.
And you have countries like Russia and China that aren't the most friendly to internet freedom.
Sure.
And like North America, Europe, they're pretty good privacy laws, but
That's it. It boils down to the privacy
yeah,
laws.
It really
Yeah.
does. So it's concerning, right? So like,
if I sent that email and it got rerouted through China and through Russia,
yeah,
then you know that, I'm going to have some unexpected expenses go onto my card this year.
I know.
Yeah.
Yipper.
So what do? Be careful.
Seagate and IBM are using IBM's blockchain tech to verify a disk drive's authenticity using its electronic fingerprint. The blockchain drive is apparently a way for the firm to deal with the problem of fake or counterfeit drives. These may be sold online and are typically relabeled old drive units boasting higher capacities and speeds. Because they're older drives, their lifetime will be shorter than the new drives, as well as having lower than labeled capacity and speed. The idea is that Seagate furnishes an electronic ID, EID, at the time of manufacture and registers this with the product authentication data on IBM's blockchain platform in its public cloud. The blockchain platform is powered by the Linux Foundation's Hyperledger Fabric Distributed Ledger Framework. This blockchain EID can be updated during the drive's life with, for example, a digital certificate of data purge electronically signed by the device under a Seagate Secure Public Key Infrastructure, PKI. It would be stored on the blockchain for compliance management with emerging global data privacy laws. We're told that the blockchain's EID proves an immutable record of disk drive events. It means that if a drive is offered for sale, its provenance could be authenticated so that you now know if the 14 terabyte 7200 RPM Exos drive is for real and not a cheap old relabeled 8 terabyte 5400 RPM drive. The theory sounds good, but the practice in the real world will depend on the cost and practicality of access. You would need drive details from the seller in order to check them on the IBM blockchain platform, and the seller might not be forthcoming, especially with online sales. IBM and Seagate quoted an international anti-counterfeiting coalition statistic saying that the global trade in counterfeit and pirated electronic products has reached more than $1.7 trillion in value.
$1.7 trillion.
Brilliant.
That's nutty. Now,
I
of course,
know.
not
crazy.
all of that is drive,
no,
hard
it's
drive.
like just counterfeting and pirating.
general.
These
as
could
in-
be Gucci wallets and things like that, too.
right.
The whole
I
nine
would
yards.
imagine. Yeah. It's
But-
all Gucci, as a matter of fact. There were 3 hard drives. We've encountered it on Amazon where we actually bought
Mm-hmm.
an SD card that boasted that it was like 256 gigs, and it
Yeah?
turned out it was 16. But
Right.
they relabeled it, they reprinted it and everything. Get onto our website, category5.tv, do a quick search for Amazon Fake SD, and you will you'll love the video, but it's really important information.
Yeah.
So, okay. So if this blockchain technology was to be applied to all things, right? Like IBM and Seagate are doing it,
Those
but if
SD
it was
cards.
if it was the SD
Yeah.
cards, yes, they would cost more money. And here's the thing.
But
I would pay more money because I would be able to track that it was an authentic, workable piece of product. I don't want a $3 SD card that's going to ruin all of my memories. I would pay extra money just to know. And,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
I would say that this is exactly what people are going to do and think.
And we're seeing more and more. Like you can get a $20 video card on eBay that is a $500 video card, and it doesn't make sense.
It
and you
doesn't.
get it, and it looks like the card, and they've made it branded like the card. And then
Exactly.
if you really know what you're doing, you'll determine, no, this is not that card.
No.
But the fear and the risk with something like a counterfeit hard drive
Right.
or an SSD, like you think, how big is your hard drive? 8 terabytes, let's say. So if you've
There
got
you
a
go.
spinning 7200 RPM hard drive,
Yep.
8 terabytes is not unheard of these days. So let's put an 8 terabyte hard drive in our computer that we ordered online, and then start putting our stuff on it and using it, and it's working great, and it's fantastic. But it's only a 2 terabyte drive that's been relabeled. So then as soon as you load it up with 2 terabytes worth of data
Yep.
and exceed that, the file system corrupts
Right.
because it can't write anything more
Yeah.
than 2 terabytes. It's literally only a 2 terabyte drive, but it thinks it's an 8 terabyte drive. So it'll keep trying to rewrite, but it'll just corrupt everything.
Oh no.
But how long does it take any of us, unless we're like dumping a lot of data onto it?
Exactly.
How long does it take any of us to fill 2 terabytes? A
Right.
long time.
So
Yeah.
you
It's
would
kind
be
of
lulled
rhetorical.
into this false sense of security, thinking everything was okay, and then all of a sudden,
And if it takes you 6 months, Sasha, to fill 2 terabytes,
yeah,
I'm just using that as the example, what are you going to do in 6 months? Good luck finding this vendor from
Exactly.
eBay that you bought it from
Right.
that has since closed down because they just pop up. They sell them, they drop out.
yeah,
They pop up, they close it.
There you go.
You can never get it back. You can never get your money back. You can never get your data back because it doesn't exist.
right.
Yeah.
It's a very bad situation. So
Well-
blockchain is a great solution.
Exactly.
That just leads to my argument that people will do this even if it costs more money. People, right? So people won't want to save the money of the possibility of having a product that they can't trace. You'll spend a little bit extra.
I think we'll eventually get used to that.
Yeah,
And Sasha, it's not an argument when all of us agree.
that is true.
Yes.
Authentic products. Woo.
Yeah, let's do it.
The flying motorbike is back in Dubai, and you could see the police riding one in the not too distant future. A year after California-based startup HoverSurf showcased its hoverbike at Tech Expo Gitex in the white and green detailing of the Dubai police, the company has returned with a new model and evidence as electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL vehicle might be, well, taking off. Making good on a deal signed in 2017, HoverSurf has now gifted Dubai Police its first serial production unit of the S3 2019 hover bike and has begun training officers to fly it. The General Director of Dubai's Police Artificial Intelligence Department described the eVTOL vehicle as a first responder unit used to access hard-to-reach areas. He said he aims to have hover bikes in action by 2020. He said currently we have 2 crews already training to pilot the hover bike, and we're increasing that number. Oversurf Chief Operating Officer Joseph Segura Khan explained that ideal candidates will be able to ride a motorcycle and have drone operating experience. Segura Khan said Dubai police have exclusive rights to order as many units as they want. They're going to let us know in the next month or two if they'd like any more. If they would like 30 or 40, we'll make it happen for them. If you're not a member of the force and have a spare $150,000, the hoverbike could still be yours. Orders are open to civilians, but Segura Khan cautions that buyers are screened to ensure that they can handle the new tech. In the U.S., the hoverbike has met Federal Aviation Administration guidelines, which means you do not need a pilot's license to fly the vehicle. A manufacturing site for the S3 2019 is yet to be confirmed, but Segura Khan said HoverSurf is in talks with 3 companies in different locations around the world, Dubai being one location. HoverSurf also has a bigger 2-seater flying car it plans to showcase in 4 to 5 months and sell in 2020, said Segura Khan.
So
that is awesome.
I was going to get a
future is
Tesla.
here.
I was going to get a Tesla, but I'm rethinking that now.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
Do you know how to ride a motorbike?
No.
Right.
I feel confused. Is this considered a motorbike or
It's like an
a
air-
helicopter?
It's neither. It's a quadcopter that you sit
Yeah.
on like a motorbike.
Yeah, so I could just take my DJI drones and just float them around.
People
like a
do
magic
that.
carpet.
People do
Yeah.
that. The crazy thing is, though, it's like this thing is a chopping machine. Like you think, have you ever
If
had
you
an
fall
accident?
off, yeah.
No, I'm going to ask you this truthfully.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an accident with your drone?
Probably once or twice before.
Yeah. Okay. I was flying my big drone,
Yeah.
about the
Oh,
size
no.
of like a Phantom 2,
Yeah.
and I brought it down on the road, and I was
Yeah.
I was learning to pilot it, and they're way different than toy drones.
Oh, yeah.
You got to kill the engines at the right time, just as you're hovering at the right spot and everything.
Yep.
I didn't do it right, and it flipped over. Okay,
No.
so it's laying with its propellers on the ground and its feet up in the air. And
Right.
so I put down my controller, and I walked over to it, and I grabbed the legs, and I picked it up, and it went like this,
Oh.
and it sliced my arm.
Oh, my God.
Okay, it was still alive.
Yeah.
I
So
thought
high.
it was asleep.
Oh, my
It was
gosh.
not asleep. So that's this thing that's about this big. Now imagine something that is the size that you can sit on like a motorbike, and it has propellers that are this big.
Right.
Yeah.
How dangerous that could be.
They'll have safety.
They will,
Yes.
of course. And these days are a lot
Yeah.
smarter with like really, really good gyros, really
Yeah.
good GPS systems, really good AI control.
And that's an interesting thing. Like when you're talking about the FAA, you're saying that you technically don't need a pilot's license or something.
You do not.
But I think that the FAA might go with like
you think
a
this is
pilot permit or like a pilot because there's like a recreational license that you can get that's like under for like
Right.
lightweight things.
I wonder
I
how
was just
high,
thinking, like,
how
is this
high,
over 250 grams?
Yeah.
how
well, it's a
high up
person.
is this hover bike going to go?
Exactly,
Will you be
right?
able to pass cars above?
How do you insure
Right?
it?
Got it.
Like,
Yeah.
are insurance companies gonna insure it? Like, is it classified as a car, airplane, a drone?
It's interesting to see how this will unfold
It's
because
exciting.
I honestly think that eventually everybody will use these. It'll cut down on our need to have roadways. I've made this case before. I think that we will be able to have more green space because we won't need roads, and we'll just have hover bikes and hover cars, and we'll be able to have roadways that are just elevated. Right?
One thing's for
Interesting.
sure, it's gonna be really easy to cut the grass
Yeah.
after
I've
getting a
gotta-
hover bike.
I've got to grab one of my drones that I have just on display here in the
Right.
studio is the Enterprise, the Starship Enterprise.
Loving it.
So this is a quadcopter, but you see how it's in a cage? So
Yes.
the propellers are never. So what if they were to put that kind of a caging system on the propellers, so that even if you hit something, you're not going to cut it up?
Exactly.
Right?
Well, exactly. Right.
That might be a more like a safer way to go.
Right.
Will
Yeah.
we ever all be flying them?
Yes.
You think so?
I don't trust
I think
some
so.
people.
I think that having been a drone pilot myself, amateur, I know the how complicated it is. Now I know that the technology has grown since then, but I know that you can get turned around real bad if you're not careful.
Right, but you've never been sitting on your drone while you're flying
Right.
it, right? I think that will change
I have
your
had,
views on it.
But Sasha and Henry, you'll probably know what this is like. I've had GPS interference,
Oh yeah, of course.
or my GPS being uncalibrated to
Every
to the
computer,
location.
every computer breaks, right?
Yeah,
Knock on
that's
wood.
a scary. That's probably why I haven't flown in the past couple of years. Is I had my GPS go wonky, and I almost lost my big drone because it just wanted to go where it thought I was telling it to go, and it was not listening to me.
It was from
Right.
Amazon. It's like, I want to go get your Amazon package. I'll be
Yeah.
back.
No, I was out of town, and I hadn't calibrated it to the GPS.
Yeah.
So it was a mess.
It's scary.
It's very scary.
Well-
With these, though, Sasha, will we ever be flying them? I think the problem is going to be battery life.
Well, especially
long
in
can you really
Canada,
fly?
well, during the winter, right? It's
Oh,
more like
yeah.
a summer car kind of deal,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So
I want for
Weather
it to
permitting.
be. I want for it to be a real thing. I can imagine the joy of like flying above the ground, not in a plane, right? Just above,
On
right?
a motorbike.
just hover.
Yeah.
that flies.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's going to be cool. I want one.
man.
Samsung will soon test TVs that can be controlled with your brain, a technology enhancement perfect for people with disabilities. Samsung TVs are already some of the most popular options for high-end home theater systems, and the company is now using its television-making prowess to help people with disabilities live more normal lives. A new project by a Samsung team in Switzerland could yield the first smart TV that can be controlled with thoughts. Samsung has partnered with Swiss scientists to bring the system to life. It's called Project Pontus. The ultimate goal is to build a brain software interface that will allow individuals with movement disabilities to control television features like channel switching and volume control with their brains rather than their bodies. Brain-controlled gadgets aren't entirely new. You can even buy a simple brain-controlled MindFlex games made by Mattel if you want to play around with the technology in your own home. But the Project Pontus system is significantly more robust. At present, the system combines brain monitoring sensors and eye-tracking hardware to identify what selections the individual intends to make. Going forward, the partnership hopes to make the system smart enough to accept commands via brain commands alone, meaning that you'd only need to think about changing the volume for the action to be performed. Now, before you go thinking that this is the ultimate accessory for a lazy channel surfer or Netflix binge watcher, it's important to note that this is all aimed specifically at aiding those with severe disabilities. Samsung hasn't even hinted at the idea that this would be commercially available product. That being said, the technology reaches a point where it's essentially plug and play. It's hard to imagine Samsung or another company at least testing the waters with everyday consumers. In any case, the project is still in a relatively early stage, with Samsung forecasting new prototype testing sometime in early 2019. If a thought-controlled TV ever does arrive, it likely won't be available for quite a while. So I'm learning right now in school about a myriad of different disabilities and the importance of independence and autonomy and preference in somebody who doesn't have physical abilities any longer. So it doesn't seem like a big deal to change a channel, right? But if you know that you can control what you're going to be watching, if the only thing you can really do is control what you're watching, and your cognitive health can improve because you're busy learning. You're not
independent.
just waiting for somebody to guess what you want, right? You're not verbal likely.
Right.
So
Oh, wow, that makes me think about all kinds of uses for the evolving technology.
yeah.
Do people change channels anymore?
What's channel? No, just kidding. Watch the TV.
I back and forth on whatever's on Netflix.
Yeah,
It's
if I
not-
can navigate Netflix or navigate Plex Media Server,
Yeah.
Right.
then I'll be happy. For
Exactly.
Sure. I mean, it's not for me, obviously, but
Right.
In the future, maybe.
If you can do that with a TV, then you can do it with maybe an on-screen communication board.
Maybe,
You
yeah.
could do that with an alphabet. You can all of a sudden speak just with your thoughts through a TV. right? You can now communicate.
Could lead to some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Comment below what you think this technology could be used for to better society and make things better for everyone. Moving along, according to CoinGecko, here's what the crypto market looked like as of 1700 hours Eastern Time on Wednesday, November 14th, 2018. Bitcoin has lost big time. We went down $774.93 US in the past week. Litecoin also lost, but not quite as significant, $10.49 USD. Ethereum is also down, $35.74. We also saw a loss in Monero. $17.87 was the decline, with a single Monero being worth now $93.65 US. Stellite is down $2.05. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but no, not $2.05, pardon me, 2.05 ten-thousandths of a cent, way significantly less than $2.05. But as I say, it doesn't sound like a lot, but keeping in mind that it is only worth 5.15 ten-thousandths of a cent per stellite, it's a pretty significant drop.
Yes.
Turtlecoin also is on the decline, losing 0.23 ten-thousandths of a cent, making its value this week at 0.72 ten-thousandths of a cent.
Wow.
Turtlecoin, the slow but steady one. And when you hear these numbers, so you think Bitcoin at $5,789.43, you think, wow, that one's the one to get.
Right.
Well, you're not going to get a single Bitcoin without that kind of investment.
Exactly.
The neat thing about something like Turtlecoin is you can get 10,000 of them, and it's that, and you just kind of...
It's like stocks, right? You're buying penny stock, and you're hoping that it gets up there into the,
and you have
the big guys.
This week it's interesting, though, to see everything is on the decline, and we've really had a fluctuating market over the past little while. But we'll keep an eye on it here on the Category 5.tv newsroom over the next few weeks and report back to you what we find.
Big thanks to Roy W. Nash and our community of viewers for submitting stories to us this week. Thanks for watching the Category 5.tv newsroom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all your tech news with a slight Linux bias. And for more free content, be sure to check out our website. From the Category 5.tv newsroom, I'm Sasha Rickman.
I'm Robbie Ferguson.
I'm still Henry Bailey Brown.